lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Racers Elite Brickyard 200 here in Indianapolis, home of one of, if not the greatest tradition in motorsports, the kissing of the bricks. My name is Jordan Brockell, live here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial booth, here to bring you coverage of today's special event for the Racers Elite Series. So you can see tonight, it's going to be a little bit of a slippery track tonight. 137 degree track temp, only 86 degrees out, ambient temp. But that's going to be a tall task, especially going into these, separate corners. That it's a little bit different than our normal ovals where, you have two turns, but they're kind of still one and the same, as to where here you have a little bit of short shoot between the turns. So it's almost like four completely different turns. And I think it's going to be troublesome for these guys, especially at 137 degree track temp. You want to really kind of hold that bottom line there and really wrap the bottom and, get the fastest, most amount of momentum that you can off of the corner. And it really helps if you could dip those tires just below that white line there too. But you don't want to go too far and hit that curb, or grab the grass a little bit, because that's not going to be any good for you. You're going to send yourself around, and it's not going to be fun. But these guys are here for 200 miles here at the Brickyard, and I'm really glad that you know, we're back to the original configuration. No more road course. You know, nothing wrong with the said road course, but it's just not the Brickyard when you win it. And you know, if I'm gonna win a Brickyard, I want to be able to kiss the bricks winning it on the oval. You know, it just doesn't have the same feel to me if you win it at the road course. And I mean, it's not saying, you know, it's not a Brickyard win or, you know, any of that. It's just not as I don't know. You see all these guys like Dale Jarrett and everybody who's won the Brickyard and started the tradition of kissing the bricks, you know, on the oval. No one ever did it on the road course until NASCAR decided to put them on the road course. Qualifying is well underway as we're taking a little bit of a look here at Andrew Teft, who is just now finishing up his final lap here. Gonna be interesting to see how these guys really work this. You know, it's a aerodynamic, you know, dependent track, and these cars are heavily aero dependent. And you know, you even kind of catch yourself with some aero blocking as well. And you know, there's Curtis Ecker. He's just now finishing up his run. Pop on over to Todd Slauson, who's midway through his second lap. It's interesting to see, you know, the newer generation cars having some old school paint schemes like this Goodwrench number 3 here, reminiscent of, you know, the one Dale Sr., rest in peace. But it's always fun to see the renditions of, you know, old cars, you know, old paint schemes on new cars. And that's what's amazing about a sim like iRacing, where we do get that chance to be able to throw a little bit of history onto whatever we want, when we want, at any time. And, you know, running these special events, you know, you get to kind of bring out that fancy new paint scheme that you've been sitting on for a little while and have a little bit of fun. So we're just a little bit short of, you know, going green, you know, going to the grid here, just about 15 seconds. And you know, I'm looking forward. I think a big key is, you know, keeping your nose clean, and you know, saving tires. Saving tires is going to be massive here, just because, I mean, we have such a high track temp. Again, just want to bring that up. You see over there on the right hand side, 137 degree track temp, which is not easy in the slightest. I mean, even around 100, 105, that can tend to be a little bit crazy. So we're going to go ahead and get into the grid here. Starting on pole is going to be Seth Horsley, followed by Stoney Benfield. Brandon Honeycutt and Andrew Teft start row 2. Todd Slauson, Curtis Ecker in row 3. Brian McLendon and Justin Byers in row 4. Eric Dodd, Kirby Wainscott in row 5. John Higman Jr. and Matt Metler are in 11th and 12th. And rounding out our field is going to be Jesse Fox. Jesse Fox, Matt Metler, and Higman not putting down times. Everybody else did put down times. Again, your leader, Seth Horsley, with that pole. And if we can find him, we'll go ahead and grab one Mr. Seth Horsley. Mr. Seth Horsley, it's Jordan up in the V-Speed booth, or in the SRM booth. You got a copy?
I do.
So, you get off on a P1 start here, and you know what's some keys to, you know, running this thing?
I don't know. It's slick.
Yeah, I was noticing, I mean, you're sitting at 130-ish, 137 degree track temp, 136 as we speak right now. And that's not fun, especially with these turns that we have here at Indy, where they're really, really tight, and you gotta kind of carry speed through them. But I mean, with such a hot track temp, that's gonna be a tricky thing to do tonight.
Yeah, it'll be a game of managing your tires too, so we'll see how it goes. My plan is to stay clean as I can.
Yeah, well, we want to wish you luck for one. You know, it's going to be a long race, 200 miles. You know, how do you keep your wits about you and keep yourself in the zone?
Red Bull. I'm just staying calm.
I hear you, brother. Well, wish you good luck, and we'll get you sent back to your booth. What was your Discord?
The Outsiders.
Alrighty, brother. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's Seth Horsley, and you heard him right there talking about how, you know, it's going to be a slippery track, and you got to keep your wits about you, and then of course, you know, just keeping calm and chilling out there. That's crazy. You know, this track again, I want to bring up that race information here. 2.51 miles. It's one of the larger tracks on the circuit, and you know, it doesn't race just as much like a super speedway. It's kind of like a super speedway down the front and back stretch, but then you have to slow down pretty significantly to make the corners, especially once those tires start to wear in, and you really got to keep your wits about you. As that pace car comes out of turn 4, you're going to make that hard left turn. And it's going to lead these guys down to that start zone. And the green flag is waving, and we are underway here at the Racers Elite Brickyard 200. See everybody kind of figuring it out now. Oh, it looks like I believe that was John Higman, a little loose coming out of that corner there. And again, you know, we heard Seth Horsley talking about it very early in this race is going to be slippery, and you're going to slide all over the place. You're going to have to keep that car under you, and it's going to be a tough task tonight. Back up front, you can see Seth Horsley having about 0.3 of a second lead already on Brandon Honeycutt. And, you know, we're going to have to see how these cars are going to react to, you know, that air and that draft. Because as you see there, 6 gets a little loose into the wall, and that immediately allowed Stoney Benfield to hop up and take off. Drag racing, going to be side-by-side, Horsley and Honeycutt. Honeycutt backs off, thinks better of it. Crosses over, going to get really close to the inside of Horsley there. And that just shows you right there how quickly things can change here. You know, we saw Horsley have a little bit of a moment coming out of turn 4, and that was able to allow Stoney Benfield and Honeycutt to kind of almost jump him there and you know, take away his spot. See in the comments, Truth Hoke says he's not going to be here tonight, unfortunately. And, you know, wish you were here, Truth. Love saying your name. It's a great name. But, you know, these guys are going to have fun. We also have the 400 tomorrow as well. Right here, tomorrow morning. As Stoney Benfield runs the fastest lap of the race at a 54.79. So we're going to see some of these guys probably running faster times just behind him because they get a little bit of that draft and they're able to pull on the car in front of them and, you know, essentially carry more speed throughout. But right now, Stoney Benfield running out front, 0.3 of a second. Seth Horsley running in second. Brandon Honeycutt just back in third. Andrew Teft in fourth. Curtis Ecker sitting in fifth. Curtis Ecker right now is probably the most under fire. Oh, is the 97 of Justin Myers, grabs the wall a little bit there. He's not going to be happy about that. That's going to flatten out that right side and maybe even affect the arrow just a touch that, you know, it might not be happy, but with all of that, he still actually ran the fastest lap of the race that time coming out of turn 4. So if he wouldn't have slapped that wall, he definitely would have had an even faster time of that. Byers to the inside of Ecker. Ecker thinks about it and just kind of lets him go. Crosses him over. He's actually going to take it back. Gets a little squirrely. Grabbed the grass a little bit there as well as grabbing some of that curb. And, you know, like I said in the pre-race, you know, that curb and that grass is not going to be your friend in the slightest. As you see Byers getting a little loose out of there as well. These guys are going to have a handful all night long with this track. I mean, 136 degree track temp. You know, it's not simple. And you see up here, Brandon Honeycutt actually ran the fastest lap this time around at a 54.50. So these guys are right here in this front 3 rows right now are kind of pulling away. Andrew Teff trying to hang on to that train a little bit, just ever so slightly, you know, sitting around almost a second off of Brandon Honeycutt there. You can hear right there just how much they actually have to get off the throttle here. You know, you're carrying speed all the way down that front and back stretch. You know, where he's taking these corners around 150 mile an hour right now. And you can see he's going to get up around 180, 190. And then have to let off and coast into that corner. As you see, he's going to top out at 192 and then off throttle. Back down to around 50. So you're dropping 40 mile an hour just to take this turn. So, I mean, any kind of, you know, bad exit on any of these turns, and it's going to set up to be overtaken by the car trailing you, as you can see now. I mean, Andrew Teft already falling about a second and a half now off of Brandon Honeycutt. Brandon Honeycutt taking a wider line. I don't know if he overdrove a little bit there, or if he's trying to find a new line to maybe get out of the air of the 6 of Seth Horsley there. And Andrew Teft not quite able to keep up with these guys, but I do want to say I love what Andrew Teft does over here running the Racers Elite, you know, league. Not only do they have their weekly league races, they also have these special events like this, and you know, it brings life to the sim. You know, when you run those special events of, like, you know, through NIS and all of that stuff, and running the Indy 500, it's fun, but you get separated in different splits and, you know, different races, and a lot of guys on this sim like to race together and, you know, have that camaraderie and that friendship, and so being able to be in some kind of special event like this, it truly is a lot of fun. And, you know, Andrew Teft does a wonderful job at constantly throwing out different special events, and you know, even offering people to choose what they want or what the next race should be, and just want to, you know, hats off to him for always putting this stuff together. Back out front, Stoney Benfield in the 75 car is kind of pulled away from Seth Horsley and Honeycutt for a moment. And, you know, it's interesting to see on such a aero-dependent track of being able to still gap the cars behind you. Back a little further, Brian McLendon kind of just leading Kirby Wainscott to a point, and Kirby Wainscott's a guy to look out for. He runs really well during the league races that I do get to watch. You know, I myself am on Wednesdays and Thursdays on a different show, but you know, here at SRM we all, you know, give each other our due and watch and listen. And, you know, we work all too well together, and you know, Kirby Wainscott is a name that I hear very often throughout that. As I'm talking about him, I put him in the wall, basically. Oh, Kirby, you're gonna hate me when you see this later. Barbara says she's pulling for Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor. I love that. The faster pastor. You know, it's always great when you have a nickname. It's like, I don't know, it's just Stoney the faster pastor Benfield. That just sounds awesome. She's also pulling for Brian McLendon in the 50. So we were just on Brian. Currently sitting 9th. Running pretty well, running consistent lap times as well, so it's going to be interesting and fun to watch. You know, he's under fire right now by Kirby Wainscott. Back up front, Seth Horsley still fighting off Honeycutt as the faster pastor Benfield is still pulling away from these guys and really kind of leaving them in the dust a little bit. Not too far. Not too far. He is about a second, which is, you know, about 0.6 more than it was a couple of laps ago. And you almost wonder how much differently that he has to drive behind, like Honeycutt right now, behind the 6 of Horsley. You know, is he able to save it all? Is he able to, you know, kind of hang on? Or does it not matter? You know, like places like Daytona and Talladega, the drafting, you know, behind, you can save fuel and, you know, kind of use the other car to drive you. But here, I mean, you're having to let up and go through these corners as Honeycutt is begging to get through Horsley right now.
It's Sam, you got me?
Yes, sir, Sam. I want to welcome you into the SRM booth.
You mind taking a look at the private messages, please?
Sorry about that, folks. Just a little bit of a sound problem there. Brandon Honeycutt, while working on that, Brandon Honeycutt has found his way past Seth Horsley, and he really had to work for that one, and now he's got to set his sights on Stony Benfield. And Barbara also said that the 50 of Brian McLendon is a part of the same church as Stony the Faster Pastor Benfield. That's awesome, and that's right there what I was talking about, of how, you know, running these kinds of special events, you know, you get to still race, you know, the Brickyard 400, Brickyard 200, and you don't have to worry about being put in a split with a bunch of people that you don't care to be around. You get to be free and have all your friends and your colleagues, I guess, as if, for a lack of better terms, that you race with on a weekly basis. And, you know, that's what I love about iRacing, is the kind of like the small knit families that you make.
It's not only that, Jordan. You also got the fact that these one-off events, there's no points involved. There's no real championship, so it's not like you have that extra pressure too. It's like, oh, I need to finish at this to get this many points to advance, or need to do this to be locked into the playoffs. You know, it's that you can kind of have more fun with these single events, especially the ones that Racers Elite throw. They're so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, that's, you know, just before we got you in the booth, you know, that's what I was talking about a little bit, is how Andrew Teff puts on these wonderful special events, and there's such a variety. You know, he follows the schedule, grabs the Indy 500 and the Brickyard 400, and I believe there was a Daytona 500 earlier this year. But, you know, then he even puts up polls. You know, people can vote on different things and put on different kinds of races. So it's cool to see someone actually take charge and put a lot of time and effort into that.
Yeah, if you're looking to do one of these single events, or even just a regular series, I highly recommend it. Like, Racers Elite does such a good job. I've not participated in like a regular season, so I can't speak on that from a competitive standpoint. But for the single events, I competed in the Indy 500 they did, like, actually on the weekend of the 500, and I can say that it was very well organized. Like, it honestly made it one of the best organized single events I've done on iRacing.
Yeah, and just the feedback that they give him is wonderful as well. So we see here Justin Byer, or my apologies, Todd Slauson's under fire from McLendon here. McLendon looking to the inside, not quite going to get there.
He's pretty close.
Yeah, and
they both are pretty close to each other.
The big thing that he needs to do is he's got to try to get onto that left rear quarter panel. It looks like he's got a little bit here. If he gets a good drive off, actually it looks like the 3 went a little wider there and kind of had a better momentum off, but still leaving that door open for McLendon. I think McLendon grabbed that curb just a touch, and that, you know, that curb and the grass, those things are gonna sneak up and bite you. And, you know, that's what sucks about being inside these race cars. You can't see it. We'll go on board right now. You can kind of see it here, but you don't really know how close you're getting until it's too late sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just that kind of thing. Like, when it comes to racing at a track like this, you really have to be on your P's and Q's. Not only that, you gotta be paying attention. You really do.
Exactly, the entire time. You know, one of the things that I was talking about at the top of the hour was that, you know, you have a little bit of a slip up coming out of any of these corners, whether it's turn 1, 2, 3, 4. That car that's behind you is going to close in, and if they're within a shot already, they're going to be right on your rear bumper. And if you have a bad, you know, exit on one of the like turns 4 and 2, as you see Seth Horsley gets a little loose coming out of that corner now, you're going to basically give the guy behind you almost like he's going, you know, 5-10 mile an hour faster than you, and pulling draft off of you. over here in the chat. We got another one for the Faster Pastor, Stony Benfield, as well as a shout out for Horsley. Horsley's doing good. Had the pole to start, fell back just a touch, but you know, ultimately you see a little bit of right front damage there. I wonder if that was from when he came off the wall coming down that front stretch.
John Hickman Jr. You know, Jordan, trying to get Zeke's, and I know some of the other guys from SRM can attest, I always end up having trading paint issues here, so I'm trying to see if trading paints is working for me. Can you tell me what John's running here, like what paint scheme he's got going on tonight?
60 looks like Victrix.
Okay, so it is correct. All right, so I can be a little bit more effective now. I finally got everything up and running on my end, like 100%, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, let's dive right into this race. So tell me, Jordan, what happened at the start of this race?
What happened to McLendon? Let's go back, see if we could see what happened. Oh, loose out of turn 2 and just tries. Oh no, was that turn 2
Yikes.
or 1? I think it was turn 1. That just stepped away from him there. We'll back it up a little bit here. Just real quickly. You can see he gets on that curb, starts to drift out towards the track out, and you can see it just steps out just enough. And when it steps out, I mean, it's terrifying when that thing steps out like that. And that thing's gonna be quickly repaired. Does have a fast repair. I'm trying to look. Yes, everybody does get 1 fast repair, 4 sets of tires. So for him, at least he does get to get back on the field and run. But to his demise, he's going to be under fire from the Faster Pastor Benfield right now. And, you know, he's going to be begging and praying for a, no pun intended there, my apologies. But he's going to be basically hoping for a caution here, because he's not going to be able to get that lap back the hard way. That's the impossible way here. Actually, for Honeycutt's going to be able to pull a little bit of draft off of McLendon too here.
Nice inside shot, Brandon Honeycutt's car.
Yeah, and I love this dash view. It's something about it. It just gives you a little bit of perspective, just to.
Yeah.
You know, I think I do need to raise it just a touch. But it does give you like a perspective of like what they can see ahead of you a little bit better than, you know, the cockpit view, the helmet view, and you know, it's kind of like a neat little shot here. The other one I like, especially at places like Talladega or Daytona, is when we get the gyro going. But you can see here just in how much slope is still in these corners, as well as you know, with the 136, let's see, we're down to 133 degree track temp now. But that shows you just that banking plus that 133 degree track temp. Things are difficult to drive, as you can see him kind of having a little bit of a rear end happiness there.
Yeah, this track, I'll be honest with you, Jordan, I've never really connected with this track as I have some of the other ones that we see throughout the entire schedule for NASCAR or in iRacing in general.
Yeah. See, this is ultimately one of my favorite tracks to run because it races like a super speedway down the front stretches, but then it races like a
Uh-huh.
mile or a mile and a half through the corners. Um, so you get the different feels, and the crazy thing is it looks like Seth Horsley's coming down pit road now. One of the crazy things about it is I feel like this is one of those tracks that gives you like a false sense of safety when you come out of turn 1 or 2. You know, you think you're carrying just enough, or you're carrying the right amount of speed, and then you realize you're carrying too much, have to check up. You know, it ends up throwing off the whole corner, and it's truly a masterful track, as you see Eric Dodd and Justin Byers also making stops here as well. Now, are you do you still race in leagues, Sam?
I've been on like a hiatus right now. I want to try to get back into it. I don't really know where to start. I was thinking about Races Elite when they were like looking for people to race in this next upcoming season, and I was like, nah, like, I don't know. It's just not
No,
not my thing because they're super competitive, and I just want to like find a league that I can just kind of chill out and relax and have some fun with it. Still be competitive, yeah, but nothing like this.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy and awesome about iRacing is the different leagues and competitiveness and the vast majority of series that you get to run. And for me, I'm a big truck guy. I love trucks.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
Something about the truck. It's just I like watching it the most. In IRL, it's one of my favorites to watch. You know, they're a bunch of young guys out there, you know, trying to make a name for themselves. And then something about the truck in iRacing, it just drives. It's the way it drives is just one of my favorite things to run here. I think I got my A license by just running in the C class just because that's all I wanted to do.
You serious?
Oh, 100%. I was in C class way before I even started going in. I think I skipped B class at that point.
That's honestly amazing.
It just, you know, you get that safety rating up over that 4.0 and immediate license granted, and you know, that's pretty much what I did. As you see here now, the faster pass are going to slow it down now and come down pit road.
Number 75.
Yeah,
Stony Benfield.
Yep, and you can see here just how slow and long this pit road is. You know, you're going 190 down the straightaways down to, I want to say about 50. Yep, 55 for pit road speed. And, you know, you got to take that long drive down there. And now everybody's going to kind of get split up a little bit as you see, you know, right sides go up. He's going to drop that. Left side's going to pop up. You're going to get 4 tires full of fuel and send it on its way. As you can see here, Seth Horsley coming down the front stretch. Stony Benfield still on pit road just now. You can see the smoke just a little bit off to the left side. Had just left pit road. And we can see here, there's Horsley. Horsley is, you know, running for him. Brandon Honeycutt, Curtis Ecker, and John Higman Jr. all making their stops as well. As you can see, Horsley coming down just a lap earlier may actually give him the advantage here. And you see that, so he by running just pitting 3 laps earlier, he's able to jump over Benfield here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, that's one of the things about racing is you've got to figure out the strategy. Right now, Horsley's running better, but will that last and work better than Stony Benfield coming down 3 laps later? And that's what I love about iRacing is how true it comes down to having a good strategy.
I yeah. I mean, I honestly can't agree with you more there. My thing with that, I do struggle with strategy a lot, especially on bigger tracks like this where it's pretty technical.
At this point, I don't even know what strategy is. I just basically throw the wrench at it and hope that it works.
Well, you mean, look, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to make
Yeah.
it work.
Oh, 100%. Andrew Teft and Kirby Wainscott both making their stops now. I don't know why I love Kirby Wainscott's paint every time I see it. I may be old. Older. We'll say older.
Yeah,
Not that- I'm
older.
not that. I'm not that old. But seeing
Uh,
SpongeBob paint, I love it.
Hmm.
Back
What a
towards
name too,
yeah, Kirby Wainscott.
Wayne Scott.
And I want to know. I know you can kind of do different names if you contact Iracing. You kind of, I've seen some people throw in different names or something. I don't really know how it works, but to have the name Kirby, I've seen
I
it
was
as
just about to say that.
I've seen it as a last name, but I've never seen it as a
Yeah.
first name. And honestly, I would abuse having all of the different Kirby memorabilia and shirts and hats, and I'd abuse it, and people would be just so sick of me.
Well, you have to be careful because Nintendo would be on your case like every day.
Oh, 100%. But I'd be begging them just to sponsor me, because then it's like, Nintendo, here I am, I'm Kirby.
Jordan, I wish you could see the setup that I have going on right now. It's incredible. I like this a lot better than my normal setup.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I was originally doing broadcasts from two monitors that did not work together very well, and we need a ton of screens for this, so I finally got the full setup with the race and the SDK and everything on here to run right, and I feel like I'm a professional at this point. I feel it. I may not be it, but I feel it.
Yeah, I do have to apologize for my kind of rusty commentating. It's been like, what, 2 months now? Maybe?
Something like that, but you're doing bigger and more important things in my eyes for the country. So, being you're headed to Hawaii, correct?
Yeah, that's my next station at the end of the year. It's going to be really crazy trying to do this with that 5-hour difference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what 10 o'clock race here would be 5 o'clock in the afternoon for you.
Yeah. I definitely volunteer for all the late shows.
Oh yeah, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, some of the ones that don't start till like 10 Eastern, yeah, I definitely do those.
Andrew Teft under fire by John Higman. Didn't mean to switch the conversation there, but just saw that battle coming up. But yeah, I mean, part of the Army, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's a way more important job in my opinion. So,
Anyways, let's get back on topic here. Yeah, Hickman is attacking Andrew Teft right now. That purple Vitrix number 60.
Vitrix, Victrix, something like that. I'm
I think it might be Vitrix. Either way,
yeah,
he's
running
using that draft down the backstretch.
Yeah, he was right on the rear bumper of Teft, and then it just kind of backed off just ever so slightly.
Well, you see when he exited out of, I want to say, turn 2, he was super loose on the exit, and it looks like he's pushing that car, trying to make a good exit, kind of over pushing it, and that allows Andrew Teft to just kind of cruising just a inch away slightly. However, it does look like Higman does have a lot more speed down the straights.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough thing, is you just got to get to the rear end, that left rear quarter, and kind of stick your nose in and kind of force that guy a lane up, and, hope that you can just basically drag race down the front stretch or back stretch with him to get where you need to be. And it's easier said than done.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
Yeah, as you see already, just by having a little bit of a couple slip-ups here by John Higman, allows Curtis Ecker to kind of move into the picture just a touch. Back towards the front, the faster pastor sure is showing that he is faster than anybody in the field right now, as he's pulled out to about a second lead here over Seth Horsley and almost a 2-second over Honeycutt right now.
Yeah. It's about 1.22 over Horsley right now.
Yeah,
Stunning Benfield.
I just want to let Barbara know that I'm going to use the faster pastor any second that I can, because I love to
hold on. Let's back up now. Why are you using that?
So
what am I missing here?
Miss Barbara Pinion in the comments over here, she put on here, she put pulling for Stony Benfield, the faster pastor, number 75.
Faster pastor.
And he is a pastor, and Brian McLendon is a member of their church.
That's really cool.
Imagine being a pastor, hopping on racing, and being able to claim you're the faster pastor.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
It's one of the rhyming nicknames for one that's amazing. And I feel like he should invite, a special event and have all these pastors and prove that he's the faster pastor. Because if he's running the way he's running right now, I fully believe that he's the fastest pastor.
Yeah, no, you got a point there. I also want to point out, Lori Horsley says, go Horsley. So I'm going to just take a wild guess to say that's Seth Horsley's wife. I think she's giving on some encouragement. So we got the faster pastor versus Seth Horsley, who's trying to chase him down. Which looks like, honestly, looking at it, seems that the faster pastor is indeed faster because he's the gap is increasing ever so slightly per lap.
Yeah, and that's showing right there that just a 3-lap difference. Benfield's been able to kind of pull away and outrun Horsley here. And, Honeycutt came a lap later than Benfield, so I would imagine that the closer we get to Horsley getting closer to his pit stop because of him being off sequence, Brandon Honeycutt's going to be able to track him down and overtake him here in the next few laps.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what else is happening. Let's see what other close gaps there are in the field.
Right now, currently, Seth Horsley and Brandon Honeycutt are our closest battle. Got Kirby Wainscott sitting here in 8th, kind of on no man's land a little bit. Eric Dodd just ahead of Brian McLendon here. Or no, that's Stony Benfield. My apologies.
Yeah. Benfield's making a lap pass on. Benfield did get a little loose there. I kind of got scared. I was like, whoa. Oh, a little closer than I'm comfortable with, trying to make that shoot up.
Yeah, and that's another aspect of how having a slick track is terrifying, because you just you have to not only look out for yourself and not sliding off of the corner yourself, but also someone above you, below you, or any kind of nature of that, and essentially taking you out from the race.
Yeah, some of these tracks, if you're not careful, you won't go spinning out. You'll literally just parallel to the track, just slide up and smack the outside wall. It's kind of bizarre, and those are the tracks that usually end up getting me. So I'll overdrive it, and it's like, I'm not going left anymore. I'm not even going anywhere. I'm going up.
I'll tell you what. As Honeycutt dives to the inside of Horsley, there, kind of forcing him just to touch up the track. I almost think Horsley
Yeah,
kind of
like what?
Horsley
What was
knows
I
that,
telling?
Horsley kind of knows that he's under older tires and kind of conceded the spot, save some time. Because you definitely lose time battling, and with how fast Stoney has been running, don't really want to give him any kind of help to go any further.
You saw how Horsley did kind of slide up that track, just how I was talking about. You don't spin out, don't overcorrect. No, you literally just start sliding up towards that wall.
100%.
Not a fun feeling. It is not
No,
a fun
not at
feeling.
all.
It is sometimes if you're like see the wall coming up really fast, that's when it's scary. But when you are running your tires out, it's more of a really frustrating feeling.
Oh, without a doubt, it's frustrating, especially for the you can get to somebody, and you're just kind of stuck there, and you keep having those little slips and everything, and it almost aggravates you to a point where you just start wanting to like shake your wheel. My racing style is kind of like Lightning McQueen when he first tries to turn right to go left. That's me. Except he got to go off into the cacti, and I just go into the safer. I go into the safer barrier.
See, my racing style is something a lot of people, well, like 90% of the sim racing community is not a fan of. It is attack, 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 strategy later, attack, attack, attack. It makes for some interesting passes. Then when we're 4 wide at, like, we'll say Texas, at a place where you shouldn't be 4 wide at, and then there's 4 cars in the wall. Of course, I get the blame. I'm not saying it's not my fault. It's definitely my fault, but this is what I like to use. Sometimes it pays off, but a lot of times it really doesn't.
See, for me, it's survive, survive, survive.
Yeah, that's what everybody. Well, I'm like doing a one-off event, and like there's other people from some of these leagues that we commentate on a nightly basis. They're like, yeah, just survive, just survive. I'm like, no, like this is a single event. I'm gonna attack. If it was a regular series, yeah, I would, definitely hold back, not be so aggressive. It's a league, want to be respectful of the other racers, but if I pay for it, it's a money race. I'm gonna attack, 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 attack.
I'm with you on that. My attack ends up putting me in the wall.
Yeah, that usually happens.
Back up.
One day it'll pay off.
Yeah, exactly. One day. That's what I keep telling myself. It keeps me hopeful. But someone who doesn't need hope and just needs to run is Mr. Benfield up here. Pulled out to about a 2 6/10 lead right now.
Yeah, this race seems to be pretty spread apart. Everybody just kind of minding their P's and Q's, minding their business. Nothing too crazy. Like, I kind of like this.
Yeah, and that's what's great about Racers Elite as well, is that even if we had everybody bunched up, they still race as clean as possible. Incidents happen. Incidents happen. It's racing. Rubbing's racing. But now these guys are super clean and super almost like they're professionals. I mean,
yeah,
they're professionals in their own. They're professionals in their own way. They just don't have that fancy license that some of the guys in the the Coke series get.
Yeah, I know this is the Racers Elite special event, but I have to mention another league here when it comes to clean racing. WSRL, they're also ridiculously clean racers too when they're all bunched up together. I don't know if you've ever done any work with them, but
I've definitely tuned in a couple times, and I've noticed that as well. And on Tuesdays and Wednesdays with the XMS series, those guys over there as well, just as amazing. We have the privilege of being home of several different leagues that are just very professional, and get to be a part of things like this with the Racers Elite Brickyard 200 and 400 tomorrow morning. blanking on the time. I believe it is 11 o'clock.
Huh.
Yes, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll go live at 10:50 for the Brickyard 400.
That's the full race, correct?
Yep. So 200 miles today, 400 tomorrow. Total is 600. I wonder if any of these guys are going to be in that. 200 miles is a lot. 80 laps here.
I feel like Kirby Wainscott and Brandon Honeycutt most likely will definitely be in that. I think that's why they're running tonight. Kind of get a feel for things.
Exactly. Tonight they're not worried about pulling anything off, and they're able to kind of just throw it out there and just run and figure out how it works. And if they get a cooler temp tomorrow, good for them. They know how hard they can run with a little bit cooler, and if they get the same temp that they have tonight, they're already prepared for it. It's sitting about 130 degrees. We've dropped 6 degrees off of this track temp, which is a significant amount of degrees.
Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
I mean, it's still not going to be a completely stable track, but it's definitely a cooler track at that.
Well, let's see.
So
Looking back,
looks like Seth Horsley is getting a little bit close to Andrew Teft. Andrew Teft's pulling him in just ever so slightly. Horsley, again, 5-lap older tires than Teft, and Curtis Ecker and John Higman right behind him. Kirby Wainscott also 5 laps or newer tires. So Horsley's got to be getting close to that window, down at lap 30. Probably he could make it around lap 50. Or, my apologies, he came down at lap 25. So if he gets it to about 20, 25 from there, so 50, 55, he can make it the rest of the way. These other guys are just going to have to make another stop as well, and they'll be good too. So one more stop for each of these guys, barring any cautions or anything like that. And that'll be pretty much it. And it'll be a race to the finish, as you see here, down to 0.3 of a second now.
yeah, Andrew Teft is reeling him in like crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
down almost to 0.2. You're getting closer. We'll see what it's like at the end of this long straight right here. I know we're in the short shoot right now.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this track is those little short shoots. Kirby Wainscott making his stop now too as well, lap 50. So he thinks that he's going to be good for the rest of the race here.
I'm gonna
Looks
keep
like
an eye. Yeah, about to say.
Horsley. Yep, Horsley. I think Horsley kind of conceded that. We'll take a look back at that. Looks like Horsley got a little bit tight there and just kind of realized it and then kind of just stayed wide. And see, now you're going to see that gap to Horsley grow, ever so slightly. But, he's got to be getting close to needing to come down. He's about 25 laps into a run. And, he's going to be getting really close to his number. I mean, anyone can pit from now and should be good to go for the rest of this race. We've seen guys go a maximum of 30. No one's pushed it any further than 30 so far.
30 is an interesting number for this track. I know there's some other tracks it'll either be like 28 or I've even seen like up to 35, even 40. I don't remember where the 40 is. Don't ask me that. I honestly don't remember. what track
Yeah,
that was.
I think what Horsley's game plan was to have a little bit of an undercut and see how it worked out for him. And now that it hasn't really worked to his liking, maybe backed it down a little bit more. Depends on what he's got in the tank right now. It could be backing up, and that's why he's losing as quickly. On top of having older tires, maybe trying to make this to that roughly that lap 60 that I think some of these guys might come down. As Brian McLendon makes his final stop for the race. And we can see now Curtis Ecker right there. Right, what a perfect shot. As you can see right there, he got loose and then had to turn it back to the right just a touch. And you can see that thing was not happy.
Ay, ay, ay.
This shows you right here how quick that draft can be, or how slow that draft can be. He didn't get a great runoff, and he's pulling in on him, and he's able to kind of drive it in deeper than Horsley is right now, given the tire situation. But you see right here, this short chute, he's going to be able to get right to that inside if he gets a good runoff. Doesn't quite get it, gets a little loose, so now he's going to have to try to pull that draft.
Look at that shot. What a shot.
Right there to the inside. Horsley kind of concedes a little bit there. But that's allowed John Higman to basically get right inside of Ecker.
Oh.
And now Horsley coming down to make his stop as well. So going about just about 30 laps on his stop, 2 laps short of that. Higman past Ecker. You can see now just how long it takes you to merge back onto this track. Is we saw McLendon come down earlier and get his service, and just now coming out behind Ecker and Higman right there. Back to our faster pastor, who's just kind of out here for fun. It seems like just out for another day. It's almost like a Sunday drive after a service.
Okay. Something I want to bring up that you mentioned before is the blending back in to the track from the pit lane. Yeah, with this track, that long kind of pit exit is really good with Indy cars because you're already kind of up to speed when you exit. But with these heavy, slow stock cars that like to slide all over the place, especially on flat surfaces like that, kind of hard to get back up to speed as the other stock cars that are already on a in the groove, kind of synced in with the track on a flying lap at race pace. It takes a minute.
Those Indy cars can really hold that line, and
yeah,
it's almost scary because it's almost like you're like, I should not be able to go this fast here.
Yeah, because when we did the Indy 500 here for the Iracing or the Racers Elite Indy 500 single event, I noticed that I was able to get up to like 175, like on one of the turns of the pit exit lane.
Yeah, it's definitely a wild, crazy experience with the IndyCar.
Yeah, I was like, this is not natural.
Benfield coming down.
Coming in.
Yep, Benfield coming down for his pit stop, and while he makes his pit stop, we here at SRM are going to go ahead and take a little bit of a pit stop here as well, and then come back for the final couple of laps and sail off into the sunset. We're back here at the Racers Elite Brickyard 200 here at Indianapolis. Stoney Benfield had just finished up making his pit stop, as well as Honeycutt and Andrew Taft and Horsley. Faster Pastor just waiting to collect his lead back from John Higman, who comes down to pit now. While away, something a little unfortunate happened to Justin Byers.
What happened to Myers? Whoa.
Oh, and that's just towards the end of it. Let's see here.
I wonder if he hit anything.
Oh, wow.
Okay, off. Whoa. Still off the wall. He's locked up. He's out of control.
I gotta
He stays
say,
off. He did not hit anything. No one hit him. I like that.
I've gotta say,
that a lot.
that was impressive.
For this kind of a track, that's impressive. For these
Oh,
stock
it's just
cars.
you see that little bobble towards the right, and he just
My heart would have been
overcorrected.
dropping right here. My heart would have dropped. I would have had a heart attack. Like, I actually probably would have had a heart attack.
You and me as well, buddy.
See, if it was Indy cars with that 1 million and mile an hour speed, yeah, you would have slammed into the wall and your car would have literally exploded.
Yeah, absolutely.
With iRacing's weird physics, the tire would have shot to, like, Mars, and your wing would get slung to the opposite end of the track, probably bouncing off somebody else's poor car.
Well, I mean, that's not very unrealistic. I mean, that happened, last year?
Hey, he the tire that shot off over the
And,
track. Honestly,
hit the Chevy
having a heart
Cruze, I
attack
believe.
then because I saw the tire come up and get airborne. I was like, oh no. I was like, went over to catch fence. Like the angle that they had the camera. I thought the tire was going in the grandstands.
Oh, I absolutely, 100%. I thought that tire was in the grandstands. Like, nothing could convince me that it wasn't.
Usually, some of these crashes happen like so fast that you don't even have time to think. But that crash was so bizarre. Like, you could see everything happening and process what was happening. When that tire shot up like it did, honestly, my heart sank. I got really scared, and then it just kept going off camera. Like, well, didn't go in the grandstands, but it's going somewhere outside the track.
Yeah. It hit that, I believe, a white Chevy Cruze.
Yeah, it's one of the track workers' cars. They gave her a Camaro, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah, and
Silver one, I think.
imagine being there, and then all of a sudden your car gets hit by a wheel.
You get
Like,
upgraded
what is
from
the-
a Chevy Cruze to a SS Camaro.
But, like, think about it. Like, that's not even on your mind that you're gonna get
Yeah.
hit by a wheel. Like, you see catch fence and everything, you're like, alright, well, it'll at least stop projectiles to a point unless someone goes into it.
Well, yeah, like at most maybe some slight debris if
Right.
there's a crash. But a tire? Come on.
No, that was not expected at all. And you know
The only time I'm afraid of getting hit with any projectiles at any sporting event is baseball with a
100%.
home run or especially outside the sporting area.
Mm-hmm.
That tire went outside the track. The only time baseball's the only other sport I can think of where outside the park home run. That's the only other sport
Yeah.
I can think of. One of the tools that you would use for the sport going outside the main arena area.
Yeah, exactly. Want to also say the faster pastor again makes himself backs it up by running a 53.92. And think about it. This man is practically doing that by himself. Because
Yeah.
maybe pulled a little bit of a draft off of Kirby Wainscott there, but other than that, he hasn't been around anybody. He's been on literally his own island.
We got Seth Horsley trying to draft off of Brandon Honeycutt back there on the backstretch. I kind of saw him get right up on the bumper of Honeycutt. I want to see what happens here between these two. Are they just going to hold position, or are they actually going to end up battling it out now, or going to wait for another 10 laps, or what? Like I said earlier, I'm not really familiar with this track other than how to drive it. Because I'm a time trialist. That's what I do. I'm really good at time trialing, really good at qualifying. But when it comes to the racing aspect, this track is like at the bottom of the list of knowledge. So you're really gonna have to help me out here.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun and technical track, and I mean you really gotta. It's a very big momentum track, and you got to know how to carry speed throughout these corners. It's I mean especially turns 2 and 4, because I mean it gives you your run down the chute or down the straightaways. But you mess up turn 1, it's gonna cause you to have a slower turn 2. You mess up 3, you're gonna have a slower turn 4, and it's still not gonna give you the greatest run off. So. Right there, you see that where he had to let off? Just a touch, a touch. And that's going to be enough to let Honeycutt kind of pull away or maintain the gap. You know, it's dropped just a touch here, but not a ton.
That's crazy.
Oh, Horsley goes way in deep.
Super deep. Yeah, it's crazy how that works at this track. Because I know some of the other, like, cookie cutter tracks, you know, you can spare letting off a little bit because that other guy is most likely running too hard in the corners. He's also going to let off, so you're pretty safe letting off. You're definitely going to most likely gain on him if you're behind him, especially with these next gen cars. I love these next gen cars on cookie cutter tracks, but a track like this where it's super technical, it's not something I'm familiar with. Even in the Gen 6s I was not even familiar with it either.
Gen 6 was one of my favorite, but these next gen are definitely growing on me.
Yeah, they're starting to.
Horsley giving it everything he's got to just get there.
So if you're Horsley, would you try to, you know, just kind of keep doing what you're doing now and trying to throw it to the inside, see if you can get around them there, or would you try to make a run from one of the straightaways?
So
into the corner.
I mean, your straightaways are going to be your best. Oh, big slide by Honeycutt there.
Oh, what a catch!
So the biggest, I guess you could say, trick to this track is you see Horsley right there. He needs to get right on that back bumper and just to the inside where he has enough fender in there that Honeycutt can't come down or run that line.
Because well, does he need to be to the inside before the corner, or can he start going to the inside mid?
You can give a tap and kind of essentially move them offline. It's, oh, it looks like Honeycutt. Wow, sliding there again. But you kind of want to be there so that you can have that preferred line on the inside, hug that line, and basically drag race down the front stretch and pull that side draft.
Interesting. Remember that.
That's why I love it so much, is because it's a not a repetition track. I'm trying to think. A consistency track.
Yeah, you gotta really hit your marks here.
Yeah, you gotta hit your marks and know what you can carry through a turn, and you know, adapt to it as you get tire wear or a lower fuel load. Because you know, once you start to use up that fuel, it lightens up the rear end, and you know, tires start to slip and slide. And so the more that you can learn for the dirt racers out there, where the cushion is, if you can find where that cushion is on that inside line and run that as best as possible, tight around there, maybe just a little bit under that white line, and hug that corner and have a fire off, that's the perfect thing, perfect feeling, and you can feel it at this track, in my opinion.
You know, the way you describe that, it kind of sounds very similar to IndyCar. Only difference is it's about like 100 mile an hour slower, or more like 75 mile an hour slower if you want to really get technical here.
Well, but so IndyCar hits what?
Slower, and
IndyCar hits what, like 240?
Less, yeah.
So about
it's less
50,
speed and then
about
less
50
less
mile
tire
an hour.
wear. Yeah.
So through the corners, these carry about 150 mile an hour. Down the straightaways, they hit. We saw Honeycutt top out at about 192. We'll even throw up the dashboard there. You can see right around 155, 154, 56, 57, right in that higher. And then he gets up to 160, 70. He should hit about 192, 193 going into turn one here. Just 190, but a little bit deeper into the corner on fresher tires, definitely no problem getting 190 through there. So I mean, you're taking that front straightaway about 50 mile an hour slower than an Indy car.
Yeah, something I used to like doing on project cars too is that I'd go to tracks like this in Daytona and we got these two side by side.
Yeah, I was just kind of seeing everything going on there for a bit, and I was just like, it doesn't look. Those numbers don't look good.
But yeah, what I would do is that I would take IndyCar and NASCAR and put them on the same track, like Daytona and Indianapolis, and I got in the Indy cars, the faster one, absolutely just sliced through all the stock cars. Absolutely insane, the speed difference.
Yeah, and it really just puts into perspective the differences. And me being a drag racing guy and and loving watching cars go 330 mile an hour in 3 seconds. It's insane.
That's 100, even more of speed.
Yeah, speaking of speed, Faster Pastor has basically put him in a different zip code, and I mean he's 5.5 seconds ahead of your second place runner of Brandon Honeycutt right now.
Speaking of Faster Pastor, Kip Cook in the comments is like, let's go Faster Pastor, number 75, and then Brian, then number 50. That's another one. More fans add for those two.
Yeah, and that's what I love about being able to be here at SRM and being able to broadcast these races is, I myself as an iRacing broadcaster, the list goes on. I take pride in it, and for others to watch and see the things that I'm doing with it and appreciate them the same way that I do and support me, it means the world. And so seeing all these people here supporting Brian McLendon and Stoney Benfield, and saw Eric Dodd in that as well, and Justin Byers, and even some people for Seth Horsley. It just you can involve your friends and your family into it.
Ooh. Yeah, we got some guys cheering for Seth too in the comments. Got let's go Seth.
Just as we came back here.
Oh, what did I miss?
Looked
I was
like,
literally looking away at the comments.
Honeycutt smacked the wall a little bit.
Yikes. On my end, it looks like he's blinking too, so that's not helping at all.
Something may have happened to Higman here.
Yeah, that car does not look like it's driving correctly.
It just says here he jumped to the pits. Oh, no.
No. Is he gonna make it? Just take the speeding penalty. Just don't crash. Just take the penalty. Just take the penalty. Don't crash.
Another. Yeah, it looks like he just jumped to the pits at that.
It's not good. Yeah, is Honeycutt blinking on your end?
Yeah, just a touch here and there, which is not a fun thing at all. Cause yeah, right there, big blink, another big blink there. Let's ride on. See if we can ride on board here with Horsley and see if we'll see what he sees when that happens. Yeah, so he completely gone, and you don't know where he is, and that's so terrifying. Benfield in the 75 just has about 5 3/4 laps to get through and pull off this win. And with the distance he has right now, the last thing he wants to see is any of these guys racing for position here in the little back half. You know, we saw Curtis Ecker and Slauson and all those guys right there around each other. Not Slauson. Byers, like we saw them all right there in front of Stony Benfield for a little bit, and you know they were 2 wide, 1 trailing, and stuff like that for a little while. So you're just praying that these guys don't get into each other. As you see back there, Curtis Ecker has a little bit of a moment. Yeah, Curtis Ecker.
To be fair, Benfield is the faster pastor, so he'd definitely be praying that he can maintain his gap.
Oh yeah, 100%.
See what I did there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see it, and I recognize it. Honeycutt having some serious issues there.
From this angle, it keeps looking like somebody's just gonna smack the outside wall. Trying to exit
they
these
get
corners.
so close to it.
I feel the same way watching Indy cars here, so there's no different feeling. But I feel like it's kind of stronger than stock cars, watching stock cars, than it is those open wheel cars.
And don't
Boy,
look
I
now.
feel like an open wheel.
Yeah, I was like, don't look now.
Consequences.
Andrew Teft has found his way to the back of these guys, able to pull a little bit of draft here off of Curtis Ecker, who is probably going to concede this spot, being a lap down. Or no, that's for position. My apologies.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm looking at the different colors, and I think my eyes are lying to me.
Oh, here we go.
Really
Here we go.
close there.
They're coming out to short shoot side by side right now. Andrew Tefts and Seth Horsley.
Looks like Ecker thought a little bit about it.
Not Horsley. I don't know why I said Horsley as Ecker. I was looking at the wrong thing too. I guess.
Oh no, yeah. So Ecker is actually a lap down. I see it right now. He's blue.
Yeah.
So he was. That was terrifying.
Andrew is on the same lap as Honeycutt and Horsley though, so.
Yeah, so he's going to be hoping that these guys, you know, get side by side and kind of
Maybe a little part of a tap.
throw a little bit of those elbows out to each other and capitalize on that.
Like little bonk into each other. Send one in the outside wall. Whoa. Cool. I saw Honeycutt get loose. I was like, oh. Might be it.
Yeah, and you know these guys aren't just racing for just fun. They're racing for money. First place, they walk away with $150, and second and third both walk away with $100. So, Horsley and Honeycutt, they don't want anything to happen because they're still going to be $100 richer.
Yeah. It's realistic. These two just don't battle each other. They just hold position. We'll be fine. It's tough. They need to watch out for.
Oh, absolutely. And there's also going to be 2 random racers drawn between 4th and 13th or 11th. I think 11 started. 4th through 11 to get $75.
Not bad at all.
Now, could you imagine just paying your registration of $15 and running around for a couple of hours, and then
don't do as good as you want.
Get paid $50 for it?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
I mean, you get your
still
50,
random draw.
You get your 15 back and extra 50. So Stony Benfield takes the white flag. 1 lap to go, 2.5 miles for him to claim victory here at the Brickyard, and honestly, very well deserved. The faster pastor has in fact been the fastest pastor the entire night, and try to say that 5 times fast. The faster pastor's the fastest pastor. That's a mouthful.
I think I'm good. I'll leave that to you.
But yeah, I mean, he's definitely been the fastest of the day, and I mean, even put up the fastest lap for today at a 53.92, and basically from green flag to now, I mean, he's been out front, coming down the front stretch one final time, checkered flag in the air, and the faster pastor, Stony Benfield, is going to win the Brickyard 200 here for Racers Elites. Honeycutt going to stay in second. Seth Horsley going to take away that third place spot, or keep that third place spot as Curtis Ecker decides to say, I'm done with it, and slide it through the corner. And it'd be like that sometimes,
Yeah, I don't blame him.
That's the good thing about this league or about iRacing, is you can throw away a car and what's it cost you?
Yeah, I would not be a team favorite if I had my driving style in real life. I would just put it that way. I'd have a hefty bill and really angry mechanics trying to repair whatever car I decided to try to go 18 wide with.
Oh, 100%. So we're gonna go ahead in here and we're gonna try to grab our.
I'll let you start off with Bedfield.
We're gonna go from third up. So we're gonna go up here.
I still want you to have Bedfield though.
All right, here we go. We're gonna bring up this man here. Seth Horsley, it's Jordan and Sam up in the booth. Got a copy?
I do.
Well, you started P1, you came P3, you walk away with $100. Not a terrible thing to feel. How was it tonight out there?
It was exhausting. I just kept losing my tires, and I didn't have the car for the longest time, and tried to do some early pit stops to get a hold of it. And there towards the end, I was using Brandon for the draft to keep Andrew off of me. But other than that, I'm tired.
Yeah, it definitely looked exhausting, trying to throw that thing around. And, we saw a couple guys, come through corners, slide, and, I mean, just the ever bit of slide to the right. And basically the slightest bit of saving just would slide it around. And I can imagine how exhausting that is. And it's
I don't
just
know
like...
if keeping it in fourth gear for the longest time just wore my tires out, but there towards the end I kept it in fifth and it seemed a lot better. But we got it done today, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't go wrong with getting your registration fee back and then a couple extra dollars on top of that.
Yes, that's for sure.
All right,
well, for some vehicles.
I hear you on that. Well, before we send you on your way, is there anybody you want to shout out or thank?
My wife's sitting here watching me, actually. Appreciate her being patient with me, and I think she's ready for bed. So
that's a trooper there. So
thanks for announcing, guys, and thanks Andrew and the TEF guys for putting us on. I'm new to the league, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, thank you for that, and we congratulations on the third place and some dollars.
Thank you.
Alrighty, looks like we do not have our second place finisher and Brandon Honeycutt. No Honeycutt, so I will grab
It's a shame.
our race winner.
Faster Pastor.
Faster
Himself.
Pastor. I love that. I love that.
That's genius. You should be a dirt racer. That would be a good nickname for a dirt racer. That's a dirt racing nickname right there, if you think about it.
Mr. Benfield, it's Jordan and Sam up in the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do, guys. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing wonderful, Mr. Faster Pastor.
Yes, sir, man.
That's what we've
tonight was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing tonight in the comments, the Faster Pastor, and I've got to say that's a wonderful, wonderful nickname.
Yeah, well, number one, Jordan, I'm a Christian, and Jesus Christ, man, he is my life, and he definitely took the wheel tonight. And the people that's on the broadcast are those that attend our church and You know, we do this to have fun, but we also do this just to shine the light in the darkness and tell people there is hope. So I first praise the Lord tonight, and then I want to give a shout out to my crew chief, Nick. He's just so good. Nick, thank you. You're probably listening. NC 811, Outlier, Speed Company, and thank you guys for a wonderful broadcast.
And we appreciate that a ton. It means a lot to us to get that recognition. And how was it out there? We saw a lot of people slipping and sliding, and saw a lot of people having some incidents there. And I mean, you just made it look almost simple.
Well, one thing we talked about, and Brian McClendon, he goes to our church, and he's number 50. He raced with us tonight, and one thing we talked about in practice is it's got so hot that we run our steering ratio up so we wouldn't have so much wheel in the car. And getting down below that yellow line in the corners, I really believe is where the traction was, and because everybody run about the same speed on straightaways. But just in the corners, man, I could just get through the corners so easy and not burn the tires up.
Yeah, and at the top of the hour to start the show, that's a big thing that we talked about, was being able to wrap that corner and have that good fire off in all four corners. And I mean, it's crucial here, and you definitely mastered it and put on a wonderful show, and just absolutely blew the competition away tonight. And you walk away with a couple extra dollars as well.
Well, that's good, and we'll invest that in ministry and try to help somebody with it. And my car, the more I would run, the better it would get. And so my tire wear, really, even after a full run, I think Nick said the right front was only 63%, which is still really good at a track like this, being as hot as it is.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the first. And before we send you on your way and let you celebrate, is there anybody you want to shout out to?
Absolutely. I want to give my Lord another shout, Jesus Christ. If anybody's listening, they don't have a church home, tomorrow, prospectbaptist.com, 10:30 Eastern Time, a.m., and I'd love for people to join, and if they do that. But and also, North Carolina 811, I couldn't do it without them, and they help us to keep our equipment updated and all that. Outlier Speed Company, which this is a fixed league, but they provide my sets in the open leagues. And all those people that follow on the broadcast from our church, thank you all so much for your support. And we've been waiting for this win for a while. So we've been doing this, I don't know, year and a half. And so we're just grateful to God tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations, and hope to see you in some future ones.
Thank you, Jordan. I'll be there, Lord willing.
Have a good night.
You too.
Well, that's going to do it mostly for us tonight. Going to go ahead and run through the results real quick. Throw that up there. Stoney, the faster pastor, Benfield, comes away with the win, lapping just about the entire field. Looks like fourth, third, and second were the only ones to finish on the lead lap with him. Brandon Honeycutt comes second, Seth Horsley comes third, Andrew Teft comes fourth, Curtis Ecker comes fifth, one lap down, Kirby Wainscott, Eric Dodd come behind that, Brian McLendon finishes in eighth, Justin Byers comes ninth, John Higman Jr. comes 10th, and rounding out the field that started the race tonight, Todd Slauson comes in 11th. So all around, it was a great race to watch, and I mean, even with how spread out they were, I mean, it was still a wonderful race to watch. And we had a lovely group of people cheering on drivers and some good engagement. And that's what I love about these leagues and stuff like that, and being able to broadcast, is just having that fun.
Couldn't agree more. Not agree more.
So, with all that said, I'm Jordan Brockhill. He's Sam. And before we go, as you walk through the streets of life, remember, don't play in traffic.
Rick